Dear students, welcome. Today we will go for one of the grammar topics, that is writing curriculum vitae. We have the words curriculum vitae, CV and biodata. So let us see the difference between CV, biodata and curriculum vitae, and let us also learn how a good CV is prepared and how see we can present that CV in a better way, so that you will have enough opportunities to be selected. So as you all aware, CV writing is very, very essential, especially when you go out of your colleges in search of a job. The companies or organizations will be looking after the people who are having good qualification, skill, and moreover, they look several other things also. So preparing good CV by the time you leave the college, if you know them, then certainly you will have fair chances of getting an opportunity. So as you all aware that if the recruitment is taken in a large scale, then naturally they conduct examinations, isn't it? So, but if the recruitment is taken only for a dozen or half a dozen jobs, naturally what they do, they call for the biodatas or CVs, and looking at the CV, they select some of them, and those people will be called for interview. So suppose there are some 4 to 5 vacancies in an organization, and they call almost some when they have issued an advertisement, they received around 200 applications. So they need only 4 people, but 200 applications are there. How do they select? So they just go through the CV that you have presented to them, and based on that, they will shortlist certain candidates, maybe some a dozen or a 20 people they will shortlist, and they will be called for interview. So if your CV is one among those 10 or 20, then only those in shortlisted one, then only you will have chance of getting getting an opportunity for interview. So that's how things will go on. So out of 200, when there are 20 applications are shortlisted, what happened to 180 applications? That means the curriculum vitae that you have prepared, either they may not have the sufficient information, or the qualifications or experience are not suitable. They may not have presented well. They were incomplete applications. Maybe they have received after the due date. So likewise, the 180 applications will go waste. So preparing a better CV is very, very essential, isn't it? So looking at the CV itself, they should see that this man is okay, and you may be called for interview. So that way, preparing CV is very, very important, especially youngsters like you going out of the colleges in search of the jobs. So let me share my screen, and let us go a little deep into it. Welcome to the Department of English. Today we go for CV writing. Just now I was talking about these three things. One is curriculum vitae. In short, we call it as a CV. The other is biodata. Biodata is nothing but is again a form of a CV, a resume. So are they really same, or is there any difference between them? So both almost all these three formats of biographical information, education qualifications, skills, and all that will serve the similar purpose. The purpose is only for getting a job or other things. So whether it is CV or biodata, resume, the purpose is same, but there is a little bit difference between curriculum vitae, biodata, and biodata to the resume. So what is actually curriculum vitae, what is biodata, and what is resume, and what is the difference? Let us know it first. What is a resume? A resume is a word come from French. The meaning of resume is a summary of qualifications, skills, and experience. That means it is about a summary of qualifications, skills, and experience. Resume is mainly focused on your qualifications, your skills, and experience. Your personal biographical information is not more important, but only the qualification that you have, the skills and expertise, or the experience that you have, they focus more on it. A brief, concise statement, not more than 1 or 2 pages. That means resume is prepared in 1 to 2 pages. It should be very concise, must be brief. Briefly, you have to mention your qualifications, skills, experience, and all that. And generally uses bullets and avoid narrative. So you need not give a narration about it, but you use bullets there. So generally using the bullets we will mention, right? Not describing about your experience or your qualifications at a length. So if you are writing in a bullet form, that is enough in a resume. And this kind of format is suitable for jobs where skills are more important than academic qualifications. So usually today in a competitive world, people are looking for the skills not than the qualification that they possess. Earlier, there was a trend that those who have got good academic qualifications were given importance. The percentage of marks were given important. But these days, instead of giving importance for the percentage and all that, they are just looking for the skill. I need this, whether you have that skill or not. If you are having that skill, okay, so then you will be selected. So they will be looking more for skills than the educational qualification. That means your resume is in short, in 1 or 2 pages you will be preparing, directly mentioning the skills that you are having, and at the same time you will also be mentioning about your qualifications. So it is the skill and qualification importance based format. And mostly this kind of CVs or this kind of resume is used in USA and Canada, and of course in other parts of the world also, but mostly we find in these countries. Then what is a curriculum vitae? So CV is again a Latin word, curriculum vitae. The meaning of curriculum vitae is the course of life. That means it talks about your journey of life, what all you achieved, what is your education qualification, what are your achievements, what is your experience and all that it talks about. So it is called as course of life, and is a longer and a more detailed one. Unlike a resume, the CV is a bit longer one. It may run for 2 to 3 pages, and you are going to give more and more details. Not only on academic skills, academics and also skills, but you are talking about your hobbies, the awards that you have received, the honors that you have received, and the memberships in various organizations that you have. So all these we will be mentioning. So that means you are giving a full details about yourself, not only skills and academics, but also about your hobbies, awards, honors, and all that. So it may be a little lengthy. It may run for 2 to 3 pages. A general talent than specific skills. So it is mainly focused on not on a specific skill, but on a general talent. Overall, how you are, what is your both, all that can be written in the CV form. And more suitable for fresh graduates. Why fresh graduates? It is very convenient for fresh graduates because fresh graduates, they do not have work experience. They do not. They might not have received awards, memberships in other organizations, and all that. So there is not much to say about it. So a CV is will be talking about your biographical information, your general interests, your hobbies, and all that. Apart from your skills and the educational qualifications. So CV is little convenient for the fresh graduates because he can give an overall picture, the integral picture of himself. So that way, curriculum writers are very popular, and they are very popular in UK, European countries, New Zealand, and many other Commonwealth countries. So this is a kind of format that where you can express yourself, you can present yourself on the paper. So resume is a short one, whereas CV is a bit lengthy. In a resume, we focus on the skills and qualification. In curriculum vitae, we will focus on all-round things. We also talk about hobbies, awards, honors, and all that. So a general talent we will be talking about in CV. And then what is a biodata? As we all know, data is information, bio means self or life. That means biographical data we are presenting. That is what we call biodata. So the here in biodata, the more emphasis is on personal information. Personal information like what is your gender, what is your date of birth, what is your community, nationality, what is your marital status. These are all personal information. So more emphasis will be there on personal information in biodata, and your educational qualifications and experience. Of course, you need to write educational qualification and experience, but they must be in a chronological order. What is chronological order? See, one of what happened after what. That means in 2004 you passed SSC, in 2006 you passed intermediate, in 2009 you passed your graduation. Likewise, in a chronological order you have to write. So all your qualifications, your experiences, you are writing in a chronological order. So that way biodata is preferred. It is purely, see, you are giving more emphasis on personal details and also your qualifications and experience in a chronological way. So the format specified by the employer, either you can write a biodata on your own, giving all these details, or else sometimes the employer may also give you a format that you need to present your information in this particular format. So if they have supplied you that format, try to fill it up them. If it is not there, you have to see, prepare your biodata, giving all your personal information, your qualifications, experience in a chronological order. And this format is mainly used in South Asian countries like India, Bangladesh, Pakistan, etc. So whether it is a biodata, resume, or CV, all these three are the formats of presenting one's own information. That is, all three of them are really meeting their own goal, isn't it? But only thing is there is a little difference. Resume focusing on skill and education directly. CV is talking about more of your hobbies and your personal details, also your qualifications at a length. It may run for 2 to 3 pages. Whereas biodata will talk about your personal information, education qualification, but in a chronological way. So that's how you, all these three formats are very important, and it all depends on what kind of format is suitable when you are writing, and where you are writing, what kind of company it is. That way you have to select. So in our syllabus, we have curriculum vitae uh, as a format. So what is a CV for? So what is a CV for? Why? What is actually a CV is prepared for? That means CV is nothing but an advertisement of yourself. We all knew that advertisements play a very important role. In advertisement, what do we see? In advertisement, we will see about the product details, its quality, why it is superior to the other. You will also come to know about the brand image of the company. It's all like that. So when you are talking about a CV, CV is nothing but a kind of advertisement of yourself. So what do you write in your advertisement? We carefully choose, especially when an advertisement is prepared for publication, either in the mass media or even the hoardings or in the paper, see advertisement. What do you see? Space is very, very important, and the limit within the limited space, what all you want to say, you will say in a good way. So that way, even CV is also like that. Even in your 2 pages or 3 pages, what all good things that are there, how you can able to market yourself, that way you have to prepare your CV. That's the reason why it is often called as an advertisement of yourself. So imagine that you are going to advertise about yourself. So how you should know what should be said and what should not be said, and how best it should be said, and see about layout and all that also very, very important. So see, when you are preparing CV, you should take care and keep this image in your mind that you are preparing an advertisement of yourself. Okay, so it must be attractive. So what are the three important things when you are preparing a CV? Is your CV must be attractive, it must be interesting, and it must be worth considering. Just now we had an example of the advertisement given by a company wherein there are 4 posts and 200 applications have come, and only 20 were shortlisted. So how they were shortlisted? Because those CVs are very attractive, they were very interesting, and they are worth considering. I may select this particular man, he may be suitable for this job. So the employer should feel that you are worth a candidate, and moreover your CV should be interesting, it must be attractive, so that it must see catch the attention of the employer. So all these plays an important role. So how we are going to make our CV attractive, interesting, and worth considering, we will be talking in the next slides. Okay, and it should be, employer should be impressed. The very important thing is you are presenting a CV, so the employer should get impressed through your CV. That means looking at your CV, he should come to an opinion that yes, you are a right person for that particular job. So how we do it, that we will discuss. It is a gateway to a successful career. Suppose if you are having a good CV, it's a kind of gateway for your successful career. So your career journey starts with this gate. That means you can see have a wonderful career if you are having a very suitable CV. That's why your CV may be a gateway to a successful career. So that is the reason why we will prepare a CV. See, what are the general guidelines? So how do we prepare? I'll speak little more on this slide, because whenever there is an opportunity, you come to know either through your friends or through newspaper. What do you do? Normally, what do you do? You rush to a Xerox center. You ask him to give you a biodata format, and that printed format, what you will be doing, you will be giving all your details wherever the dashes are there, and are going to present it. So many number of students or people will be taking the same kind of format and filling them and submitting them is not the right one, because that format may not have whatever you want to say. It may not accommodate your own strengths. So you want to say something else, but there is no choice at all. You want to say in some good order, it may not have an order at all. So whenever you are asked to write present give a CV, so you have to prepare that CV on yourself. Don't just copy from somebody else, or else you don't get a format outside, printed format outside, and fill and give. So that way you will be losing your chance of being selected. So CV must be prepared in a very good manner. Lot of exercise must be done while preparing it, so that it will become attractive, interesting, worth considering, and so that you have enough chances of going for an interview. So it's a kind of gateway, so you must be very careful. So preparation of CV needs some exercise. So what are some general guidelines of preparing a CV? The general guidelines are, you talk about the layout and also print quality. What is a layout? Layout is nothing but the margins that you leave on the 4 sides, right? You are leaving more margin on the left side and the less on the right side if you are writing. When you are working on a computer, you will be giving equal margins on left and right, sometimes top and bottom also. So how your CV will look attractive, that way you have to give sufficient layout. So layout is very important, where all you want to write, what you want to write. So that is what you call a layout. It's a kind of blueprint. So your layout must be good, and also your print quality must also be good. If the printing is not appropriate, if it is not in good print, if it is not a good print, then it is very difficult for the employers to go through it. So if you following a good layout, and also if the print quality is good, naturally your CV will come out well. So whatever good qualities that you may have, but presentation is important these days. Presentation is more important, isn't it? So how you present yourself is very very important. So anyhow we are presenting ourselves on the paper, so you have to check whether your layout is appropriate, is interesting, and whether your print quality is appropriate or good or excellent. You see, whatever you want to have, do your level best. Whatever is available with you, whatever is convenient for you, see, format and also the print quality, take care about it. And when you are writing the some letters bold, that is normally what do we do, we write headings in bold and the remaining in normal, isn't it? So not don't write something, don't make some in the some area in your sentences bold, so that looks odd. Only the heading should be bold. So you should take care that headings must be bold. Leave margins. The margin is very very important. So most of the time what will happen, if you want to just save the space and all that, so you will not be leaving much margin on the right side, even sometimes on the left hand side. So that looks inconvenient. So better leave sufficient margins on both sides, even sometimes at the top and bottom. So spell check, this is very very important. After preparing your CV, go through each and every word, because every word has its own meaning. If a small change in letters, a small interchange of the letters, will make a big difference. For example, you take DIARY diary and DAIRY diary. One is writing diary, the other is a milk diary. What are we doing? The same letters are there, same number of letters, same letters are there. Instead of writing IA, we wrote AI. So that way it makes a lot of difference. So better give a spell check. That means after writing your CV, go through each and every word and check whether the spelling is right or wrong with the help of a dictionary, isn't it? So because after careful examination only, you are sending your CV to the employer. So spell check is very very important. As language teachers, we all the time recommend that you should be your language, your spelling should be appropriate. And again, we will come back to the font size and color. So what kind of font that you are using? Normally we use Arial Black or Arial. Arial kind of the font is really good. Or else if you at all you want to have use another font also, it's already it's okay. But don't use the narrow font or brush letters and all that, because when you are using brush letters, they may be quite good when you, if it is presented in a personal letter and all that, they may be good. But when you are writing a CV, don't use the brush letters, don't use too narrow letters or too wide letters. So it should be appropriate. So look at the font, and the font size is also very important. Normally we keep 10 or 12 as our font. 12 font is okay. If you are making it 16, 18, looks odd. So font size is also very important. And again, as we all aware that certain font has a certain size. So that also you have to keep in your mind. And the color of your CV should also be appropriate. Don't use so many colors, isn't it? Either one or two. For side headings, one, and the remaining one, or else only one color is enough, either blue or black. Usually black is enough. So even if at all you want to make it much beautiful, so then you have to use not more than two colors, because that looks good. And your CV must be easy to read. That means people should not find difficulty in understanding or reading your CV. It must be short and attractive. So, and again, I'll tell you that using simple language is all the time best. You need not be verbose here. You need not use figurative language, because it is only for selection of the job, not for anything else. They are not going for aesthetics of you, isn't it? So use simple language, because all the time the employers will look at that you, whether your communication is clear, appropriate, and all that. So in simple language, we can communicate very well so that everybody can understand. So that's why use simple language, and whatever you want to say it in a straightforward manner. So don't write a story, or don't speak in a different way, right? Or indirect way. Be straightforward and present yourself. Use simple language, and it must be easy to read. It must be short and attractive. So these are some of the guidelines that you need to follow. We are not talking about the qualification skills and all that. That is the content. But whereas in the presentation part, these general guidelines we have to use. I already told you that don't copy CV from somebody else. Maybe two or three students are writing, are applying for the same job. They need not sit together and prepare. They need not sit together and prepare. So even if you are preparing together, but everybody is unique, as you all aware, everybody is unique. So certainly you have to check what are your uniqueness and how best your CV has come. So you have to, it must be personal. That means it must come good, personal and different. So it should represent your own. That means this is the CV of so and so person. It must represent, and it should be different from others. So that way, don't copy it. It must be your own. Should speak about your. It should be personal and should be different. So these are some of the guidelines that you need to follow when you are preparing a CV. Then what are the types of CVs? See how many types of CVs are there. So we have the chronological CV, we have functional CV, we have a combination CV, we have a targeted CV, we have a mini CV, we have non-traditional CV. See, we have here listed some 6 varieties of CVs. That means all function, the aim of all CV is the same. But only thing is, it all depends on see what kind of activity, what kind of see information that the employer wants. That way you are see changing little bit. What is a chronological CV? We have already talked about. Chronological means see in order. See what after the other, what after the other. That should be in order. So if you are following in order, that is what we call a chronological CV. So both in see your educational qualifications and also in your experience. Okay, so you have to follow the chronological order. So this is what we call chronological CV. Mostly our CVs will be either chronological or functional. So what is a functional CV? Functional CV where the focus will be on the one particular aspect. Whether they were talking about, they were very much interested in the skills that you possess, or whether they are focusing on the extracurricular activities that you have, whether they are focusing on the experience, whether they are focusing on the skill. So what function is very important there, that must be highlighted, that must be said first or given lot of importance there. Sometimes we have combination CV. So you need to go for chronological and functional, both qualities you can combine in this combination of CV. Targeted means what is it aimed at? So directly you are preparing for that. That is what we call targeted. Mini CV is nothing but, so you all that information is not necessary. The simple biographical information is enough. Then we write a mini CV. And a non-traditional, not in a traditional way of writing the CV. Sometimes they may ask you even on a paper, and it should be it may not have all that is supposed to have in a chronological and functional CV. So these many varieties of CVs are there. So it all depends on the company, it all depends on the type of job, and it all depends on what kind of thing it is essential, whether it is education, whether it is a skill, whether it is experience, whether it is about your biographical information. So it all depends on. So what I advise is, whenever you are applying for a job, you should know little about the company or organization that you are applying for. You should know about their mission and their own vision, and how they function, and what are all they are supposed to look in you. So that way we should work it on and then prepare. So these types of CVs will definitely uh, cater the needs of all your say all your issues. So let us go a little deep into chronological CV and functional CV. These two CVs were discussed in your textbook, so I am talking about them. So what is a chronological CV? As I told you that chronological means in order we will talk. So what after the other in order of their precedence we will talk. So chronological CV is that. So you first give your personal information, then you talk about your educational qualifications. When you have completed your see higher education, middle school, higher education, then graduation, post graduation, and later on. So that way your education qualifications must go in a chronological way. And at the same time experience, where all you worked. You might have worked in 3 to 4 organizations earlier. So all that the 3 or 4 organizations where all you worked, so what position you worked, how long you worked, and what was the experience that you have gained, all that must be in a chronological way. Again, skills you need to write down in chronological CV. So what skills that you have, if you are employed, what way you are helpful to them, in what areas that you are good at. That means it is about your skill. And you should also mention your interest and your achievements. What are your interests, where all you want to work, and also talk about your achievements. So what are your achievements in earlier. So that way we will write these things also. References are very important, because suppose if you have worked in some other organization or some other company in some capacity, suppose if you are giving a reference of them, if suppose the employer who wanted to recruit you want to know something about you, whether whatever information is provided by you is genuine or not, or we want to have some clarification. In such a case, what he will do, he will just contact the person to whom you have given the references, and will learn to know. So we'll get an idea about yourself. So if you are giving references, will be an added advantage for you. So because in earlier companies you worked well, they know about your hardworking nature, they know about your contributions, they know about your achievements and all that. So that way it will be an added advantage. See if you are mentioning the references. So we are giving personal information, we're talking about our educational qualifications, we also talk about our experience and all the skills that we have. Apart from these, we are also talking about the interest and achievements. What are our interests and what is our achievement? Also, we'll be talking about giving some references. So this is a chronological CV. So here is a word of caution. What will happen? Mostly we never give sufficient information to the employer, because suppose if a job advertisement has come that those who have passed see graduation, those who are having 60% in their graduation can apply. So you are a graduate, but you just mentioned your graduation only. But somebody has mentioned that he is a graduate with more than 60%, and he is also having computer skills. He also has good command in 2 to 3 languages, and that way he goes on mentioning. That means naturally he will be having advantage over you, though the minimum qualification is same for you and him, but he is having some advantage because he knows more languages. That suppose he knows Tamil or some other language, or else some other foreign language. Suppose if you are given a chance in a multinational company, so they may also consider you to send to that particular country where that language is spoken. So naturally you will be having some added advantage, isn't it? Suppose if you know computers, if you know certain language and all that, so you will be having added advantage. The company will also think in another way, in the direction that you can also be utilized in that particular manner. So that way, whatever interest and achievements are there, you please mention, nothing wrong. If you're really having them, you just mention them. So this is very very important, though they were not asked you to mention. So you are mentioning has an advantage, but not a disadvantage. Suppose if you are mentioning whatever is asked, the minimum qualifications, experience, and skills, if you are not having, but you are having more other things like general interest and achievement, is of no use. Whatever is minimum, that must be there. And apart from that, whatever extra that you have, if you feel that they are in a way helpful to you, then definitely you have to mention. Then what is a functional CV? Functional CV has is similar to the chronological CV, but there are some changes here and there. Even in chronological CV, we first talked about the personal information. Even in the functional CV also, we talk about the personal information. So skills and abilities have come in the second, because in the chronological CV, it was on the third place. Education experience we talked about first, and later the skills. But here, the functional CV, as we talked about, that whatever particular skill if you are having, they are just looking for that particular skill. They are not considered. They are not considering your, see, percentage of marks and all that, your education qualifications, experience, and all that. They are not see, considering at all. They are not important for them. What they are looking at, looking in you, is only whether you are having that particular skill or that particular ability. If you are having that particular skill or ability is enough. So when when that function is required, if you are having them, then mention your skills and abilities first. Then you talk about your career history. So what all see is career prospects, that career history that you have earlier on these skills and abilities, you should mention. Then you can also mention education and training at the end, interest and achievements. So you should also mention your interest and your achievements. References, as we have mentioned in chronological CV, similarly we will mention the same. So here, the skills and abilities, career history is given a lot of importance because it is a functional CV. They are just looking at that particular skill or that particular ability. So we are talking in the beginning itself. So that is more focused. Though we are mentioning our educational training or interest achievement, but what is more important than education qualifications is the skill or the ability that you have. They just want to look at this, whether you are having this ability or skill. So that way, the functional CV is different because for some particular aspect they will be dealing with. That means whether it is a skill or whether it is an ability, whether they go for some another thing like the experience and all that in that particular field. So that way, functional CVs are little different from chronological CVs, where functional CV has more focus on skills and abilities. Remaining things are same. So this way, by having some changes, the functional CV and chronological CV can be prepared. So a kind of advice, an advice for you while you preparing the CV. First of all, when you are preparing a CV, as I told you, that it must be interesting, it must be appealing, and moreover, it must be worth considering. How are you going to prepare worth considering, interesting, attractive CV? So first of all, what you have to do is you have to make a SWOT analysis. What is SWOT analysis? Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. That means what strength that you have, what are the weaknesses, what are your opportunities, and what are your threats. That you have to write down. Make it very sincerely and write down. So in the beginning, you may not find more strengths in you. You will be writing more of your weaknesses, more of your threats than your opportunities, isn't it? But once you start asking yourself that what strength that I have, so you will be writing some. But even after that also, your weaknesses are more than your strength, your threats are more than your opportunities. In your personality training, what you should do, you have to convert your weakness into your strength and your threats into your opportunity. But what is the use of this SWOT analysis in preparation of your CV? So SWOT, when you make SWOT analysis, you will be very clear about your strength, also clear about your weakness. Suppose in an interview, if you are asked to talk about your strength, you will talk very confidently and in a detailed way. And even some questions may be asked which may also exhibit your weakness. There you are aware that that is your weakness, so somehow you can manage, somehow you can see either admit or you can give a reason for that, or you can give your own see what you call, if given a chance I would like to improve this and that, that also is really appreciable. So threats and opportunities, so you have to look at the opportunities, not the threats. So that way, if you are clear about your strength and weakness and your opportunities, certainly your preparation for your interview will also over, because you will be focusing more on your strength, less on your weakness, more on your opportunities, less on your threats. So the same must be reflected in your CV. So sometimes students will write like this, I love music, I love this and that. Suppose if the questions will come on that, what will happen? If he is not really having that real taste and interest, then he may not able to answer it properly. So that way, it is a threat for you. So do it sincerely. That's why I'm asking you to do it sincerely. Identify your strength and weakness, opportunity and threats. So focus on your strength and see, neglect your weaknesses. So if you are having clear understanding over them, then facing interview becomes very easy for you. See, you can estimate that whether your answer will satisfy your employer or not also. So whenever you want to prepare a CV, see, first of all, you should see that what is the firm or what is the institution that you are joining, or what is the organization that you are joining. That means a little about your employer. So what kind of company it is, what are its mission, vision, and its functioning, and what they are expected of, then what is expected of you. That means what they look for. So whether you are having them or not, those qualities are not, so you must be aware of it. And what are your qualifications? So they are asking something and you have some qualifications, whether those qualifications are sufficient, you want to mention more or you should not mention at all. It all depends on the type of person, the type of organization, isn't it? So if at all whatever is required, you have to mention. So if you have an understanding about the firm or the organization that you are applying for, is definitely the background of this will definitely help you in preparing a good CV. So if you are really having a good qualifications, mention them. If you are having any additional qualifications also, if you feel, you can also mention. And what else could be added? So after completing writing the CV, ask yourself what other good things that I have missed on my CV. So you may have some strength, whether I have missed that or not, if whether that is really suitable to mention here or not also, you have to check. So that way CV writing is a very serious exercise. So you must do it very sincerely, honestly. Do SWOT analysis first. So whatever advertisement is there, look at it, what is expected of you. You should check your qualifications, and you should also check whether something to be added, more to be added or not. So that way, for each and every job, your CV needs to be tailored. That means it must make some changes, so that once you have prepared a CV for any kind of job, that you are sending the same copy of it is of no use, because each organization structure, the institutions or each firm has its own way, and the jobs that you are applying may not be the same, maybe the same clerical job, but the thing will be different, the where you are functioning will be different. Whatever kind of job that you are applying for, all jobs in all fields may not be the same. So that you have to keep in your mind. So that way you need to make your CV dynamic, it should not be static. That means all the time make necessary changes, according to the requirements of an employer, and according to your own plus points, that your own word. So try to mention all of them and make some changes here and there, and make suitable changes, then present it. So this habit you have to cultivate each and every time when you are submitting your CV. So go through these. So this is very, very essential. Then what is a good CV? What is a good curriculum vitae? If you just want to know. So it should require details about you, is starting your objective. You can say why you want to join an organization or why you want to join that company. You may have certain goals, certain career goals with you. Showing your strengths, that means what are your strengths, it should cover. This is very vital part of your CV, and creating a positive impact. By presenting your CV in this way, you are going to create a positive impact on the employer, so that the moment when he looks at your CV, so he should see come to a feeling that you are a worthy person for the post, you are a suitable person for the post, and you may be considered. So you may be called for interview, or you may be given an appointment order in some cases. So a good CV consists of this. We normally see won't give enough details. So I all the time giving emphasis on providing the full details. Required details are necessary. They may not be helpful right now, but may be helpful a year later, because once you join the organization, what all your good qualities are there. If you are not adjusted here, where you can be adjusted, what other skills that you are having in a practical way. So there are several such things will be there. So your CV should give all these. Okay, so here I'm talking about a resume of a salesperson. A salesperson's resume should speak about his own strength. What are the strengths he has mentioned? You look at, he said he is entrepreneurial in nature, that is his attitude. Reach out to build relationship with the stakeholders, that is it's outgoing. Build a network of clients in the industry for direct sales, but he can able to see make a network with the people. That means he is having good interpersonal skills, and collaborate with in-house teams to develop and plan various sales campaign. That means he can also able to design or develop the plans. Knowledge of online display space, he has the knowledge. Adapted social media and mailer solution, that means this is also an added advantage for him. Growing existing accounts on full potential, generate maximum revenue on a long term basis. So that way, indirectly, he has mentioned all his positive points. See, without giving the titles, he just spoke about his own positive points. So likewise, you have to work it out. So whatever the kind of post, you have to work it out. How best, what skill that I have. So if you are making a SWOT analysis, then only you will come to know your strength. So these are all the strengths of a person. So likewise, you too can prepare see a CV based on your own strengths, isn't it? So do some exercise before presenting, actually presenting it. So do some exercise, taking all these tips into mind. And again, CV rating is also a skill. That means it won't come in the very first draft. Your CV may not come excellent, and every time you have to make this effort. Every time, whenever you are applying for any job, sending CV, then you have to do this exercise. So this way we can make our CVs more interesting, more worthy, and moreover we can attract the employer's attention. So here is an example. The biographical details were given, career objects were said, academic qualifications were there, and the professional qualifications, professional experience they talked about. Then what are all he knows, where all in what are all projects he worked earlier, what are the extracurricular activities, and also the personal details he has given. This is one example. And another example is he mentioned his name, career objective, education, technical profile. He is talking directly about his strengths. And see, if you look at another example, the biographical, the general details were given, objective, education qualification, technical qualification, certificates, strength, awards, and recognitions. It's a bit detailed CV. So what I ask you is don't ever blame that this way of writing is bad. So all CVs, resumes, biodatas are right, provided if they could serve the purpose. So there may be a little change in the order, but don't get confused. There may be little change in the order, because we little sometimes change the order because because of the because of its function, isn't it? So naturally, whenever you come across the other varieties of CVs apart from whatever is given in your textbook, don't think that they don't know how to write the CV. This is bad. So a CV should function, at least it should have these many things, these many important things in it. So whether they were there or not, see what, whether if it is a functional CV, whether skills abilities were given importance, whether if it is a chronological CV, whether we followed the chronology or not. So that way you can make some standard things you have to consider, but other things you can be at liberty to use them and make your CV worth considering. So here I have given one exercise. Prepare a CV in response to the advertisement. The advertisement was given by mega engineering company asking for office assistants. The qualification is any graduate with 60% of marks with good communication skills, knowledge of computers, willing to work outside state. So send a CV by 2nd May 2020. That means whenever you have seen an advertisement, act immediately. We have the habit of waiting for the last day. That means at last hours we will prepare our CV and send it. So all the time it may reach within the time, or it may go beyond that. So whenever you are sending a CV, you should send well in advance, give all your details, then make a rough draft, make it a fair, present in right way, follow the general guidelines, then make your CV more interesting so that the CV will be worth considering. One more example, for a research associate issued by Shanta Biotics Private Limited. So I have just taken for an example. It's not an original advertisement. So PG in life sciences with 60%, 3 years work in a project. So apply in a week. That means your research associate and the front office assistant is uh, totally different. Here, graduation is essential. When you are going for research associate, you need to have a post graduation in life sciences. So having some exposure, see presenting the papers, working on the instruments and all that. So that way, each and every job requires its own things. So whenever you are preparing a CV, consider them into account and then prepare your CV so that you will have fair chances of uh, getting employed. So follow these things. Then see, prepare a good CV, start writing CV, do some exercise, SWOT analysis, and observe these general formalities. Then follow the CV and become successful. Okay, wish you all the very best. Thank you very much.